Hello and welcome to For the Watch. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today we are going to be going over the whole entire series. Well, this is just one. It's season one season of Queenie. This show was on Hulu and I didn't hear about it. I came across it on Hulu. I think I was probably trying to watch Power or something. I don't know what was going on. I probably watched Power already, and then I saw this Hulu. This Queenie thing. I said, let me see what's going on with this. Clicked on it, could not click off. Okay, like the only reason why I didn't watch it all in one sitting is because I think I started it on a Sunday, possibly. So I had to go to work. So anyway, guys, I'm here with my girl. Pretty Girl Loves Trap Content. Hey girls,
Hi.
beautiful as ever.
Oh,
So I was laughing while I was saying, what I when I was doing my introduction because it's the same introduction as Rewind That with Miss K. But I'm like, hey, I'm the same girl. I'm reviewing shows, doing all that stuff on this channel, so it doesn't matter. Let's keep it all together. You feel me? All right, y'all. So let's talk about this show. Okay, so after I told you about it, you decide you watched it. Did you watch it in one sitting or you had to take a break?
and unfortunately, I maybe took a bathroom break, but that's about it. Because I did see it advertised on TikTok a couple of times. A couple like
Hmm.
TV reviewers was talking about it, and then here and there some technical difficulties. I would hear about it, but I just it looked interesting. I just didn't have time. And then you
Yeah.
mentioned it. I was like, okay, let me just see what's going on with the show. And then first episode in first scene, I'm like,
Mm.
okay, this is gonna be good. And I told myself 2 episodes, going to bed, well, 2 episodes and do my chores or whatever. No, I was stuck for what,
Yeah.
4 hours?
Yeah. Right. Because one thing about this show that I love is that it's only 20 minutes long, about
Yeah.
20 to 24 minutes long. I feel like it gives you this insecure vibe
Yes.
slash bubblegum. That was another show from the UK.
Okay.
So it's kind of like fun, but it also has some drama involved. But with
Mm-hmm.
this girl, we get to get all up in her head, like with Issa Rae or Issa D, as she was her character on
Mm-hmm.
Insecure. She was talk. We heard her thoughts when she talked to the mirror,
Yes.
right? With Queenie, we hear her thoughts.
Yes.
And I was just like, one thing that I couldn't stand with Insecure is that she would like act out what she wanted to, and then it wound up what she wanted to do, and it wound up being just her imagination. Like she really didn't
Mm-hmm.
do it. And I'm like, Dag, you didn't really smack her? Dag. So with Queenie, I was kind of with the same thing, like, please don't tell me you're gonna be one of those that don't. But with her, she kind of would be thinking it, and it will come out of her mouth.
Literal word vomit. I'm like, girl.
Yes. So can we talk about that first scene where we see her? She's on the table at the gynecologist, and the lady they just doing the most.com. So
Oh,
just take it away.
I mean, talk about unprofessionalism.
Yes.
I mean, the poor girl, she didn't, I don't know if it was like a urgent care or emergency room situation,
Mhm.
but they lacked to even really know her name. They were, she was getting an examination, and they just didn't give it the care that it needed in terms of the procedure, what they were looking for.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the mere fact that we were all as viewers trying to figure out what was going on because they were perplexed as to what was going on and her
Yes.
vajayjay, and I'm just like, please, some some
Some.
professionalism. But the whole time you feel sympathy, but also you're laughing because there's so much comedy uh in the dialogue and her inner thoughts. Like, it was
Yes.
very, very funny opener. Like, that was probably the most perfect. It drew me in.
Yes. Yes. And you wanted to know what was wrong. Cause
Yes.
she's bringing in the doctor, like, do you see that? I thought that's what that was. I'm like, tell us what it is. Hey, Faith
Somebody.
Family and Fun Reviews. So we
Hi.
find out as she's talking to her auntie. This is Aunt Maggie, right?
Mm-hmm.
we find out that, well, she didn't tell Aunt Maggie, but we do find out that it was a miscarriage. So
Yes.
she didn't even know that she was pregnant. So she's like, what? And listen, with this review, you can go anywhere you want. I mean, we ain't doing no
Okay.
sequence stuff. We're going all over the place,
Okay.
okay? So with this situation, we do find out what it is, but we also see that she has like this dinner that's planned with her little boyfriend Tom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is a white guy. By the way, let me just back up and say something about Aunt Maggie. Like, one thing that I love about this family of hers is, first of all, they're Jamaican and
Yes.
they're from the UK. That is my family all day. Like, my dad, he's Jamaican, but he was born in the UK.
Okay.
And so I get all of that, like all the stuff that was going on. I just need to take some time and talk about the soundtrack. Like, oh my gosh, this gave me some really good vibes because it was like very like, it was nostalgic with
Mm-hmm.
certain things with my family, and it was
Mm-hmm.
also just, and I just felt homey. I don't know why, right?
I can
So
imagine.
yeah, so I just loved it. And Aunt Maggie, she be saying whatever she says. She's hilarious. She's got that patois mixed with the British accent, which I loved also. And we also find out that Queenie does not like to be like touched. She doesn't like emotional. Like, she doesn't want to
Yeah.
hug or nothing like that. So we
Yeah.
find out later on, a little down the line. I mean, I don't think we really find out why. But do you think you know why?
Um.
Because she seemed
I
like
mean,
she was embraced as a child.
yeah. Psychologically, I kind of not figured out, but I came up to my own conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
With her just abandonment issues and just
Okay.
her lack of uh, well, there's some parts where she is attached but detached.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what relationship you're referring to. But I they didn't show us, but I kind of speculated. Of course, it was stemming from all the things and the trauma she went through in her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
She
Right.
just very awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like she was in a loving family, but it
Yes.
seems like the person that was supposed to be there for her the most. Even though we saw scenes of her mom being loving towards her,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was the only few times that she
Right.
probably did show
Mm-hmm.
um that sort of connection with her. Possibly. I'm just speculating, but that's
Yeah.
how I rationalize it.
Yes. All right. Well, hey, cause yeah, we did see them kind of like, it looked like everything was so happy, like it was just me and mommy and grandma and grandpa and auntie.
Hmm.
Like, it just seemed like, a nice little happy family until Roy came along. We'll talk about that a little later. But I think what I want to talk about now is we're going to meet with her little boyfriend Ted, and we find out. Oh, please don't tell me that I don't have it. Hold on now, child, because I can't stand when that happens. So we got the boyfriend Ted, and the grandmother is saying, "Oh, you have such cute babies, and they'll be milk. They'll be
Mm.
the color of coffee with milk and all this crap," she said, and they'll have Ted's and Tom's nose and all that, and your beautiful eyes, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it was like, but she was being very, she was being racist because she was, pretty much saying, of course, she would rather have, they want Tom's straight nose and all the stuff that she was saying. And then Queenie was thinking everything, and she's like, hopefully you'll be dead by the time they come.
Whoa. I was like, this is the last thing we need here.
Yes. So she's like, oh my gosh. First of all, mind you, in that scene that we just saw with her talking to the aunt, she left the gift there.
Yeah.
And then Tom announced that, oh, we got you something, mom. Was it for the mom?
Yeah. It was a
Yeah,
mom's
we
birthday.
got you something, mom, and this and that. And she's like, oh yeah, we'll get it to you as soon as we can. Whatever. So she left the gift there. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, you just all over the place already.
Yeah.
So then she leaves because she just did that outburst towards the grandmother.
Hmm.
And then she tries to get up and walk away. She runs into whoever's carrying the cake. That made a mess. It was a hot mess. So they live together, by the way.
Hmm.
And then he's coming up to her. He finally gets up to her. I think she's at a bus stop or something, and he's like, "What's the problem?" And she's like, what the heck? Your grandmother came at me like, crazy,
Yeah.
whatever. She's old fashioned, Queenie. Like, no, this type of stuff is not. This is not acceptable.
Oh
It's not
God.
acceptable. So I'm gonna let you say this but this one thing I want to say because I'm trying to set it up for you because I want to hear your thoughts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Why can't you be on my side?"
Yeah.
He said, "I can't be on your side because I can't always be angry."
Angry. Yeah.
And that she didn't like that. So tell me how you felt about that that whole thing.
So, okay, so we're dealing with a Jamaican
Yes.
woman here, of course, melanated black woman. So I try to have because we kind of look at shows as reviewers, but also for entertainment as well.
Mhm.
So in this situation, I try to look at it from another point of view, look at all the optics here, because that is very triggering for Caucasian male to call African American. I'm sorry,
Jamaican
Jamaican
English,
English,
English
yeah,
Jamaican.
woman angry, right?
Yeah.
But even though this is one episode and not even, I could already tell she has things that she's dealing with, right? So I felt that his perspective,
Mhm.
it was his perspective, and I can't take that away from him because something gave me that she does have a chip on her shoulder. She does have her stuff. So she may, and she explains later, the things that she is struggling with. So I saw both sides, honestly. I
Yeah.
couldn't be completely angry at him because it did come off. Okay, I don't want to backtrack, but angry may have not been the best word to use. Let me just say
Yes.
that probably was the wrong word, but when it comes to melanated people, sometimes we're described as, just cut and dry. There's no gray area. There's not a lot of grace there when we're being, where people are being descriptive when it comes to our behaviors and such. So
Mhm.
I understood that he had some struggles with her, but maybe angry wasn't the best,
Yeah. Like angry black
term.
woman.
Yeah, I that it was triggering. It was triggering, but I feel like there was other words he could have used, but maybe he just did not have the range to express himself,
Yeah.
possibly.
And and that's the thing about when you date outside of your race.
Yeah,
And I'm talking about both ways.
yeah,
Like there's a lot of there's a lot of
yeah.
stuff to
It's a lot
work
of
through.
there's
It's
a
a
lot of
lot.
cultural differences.
Mhm.
That if it's like you can explain all you can till you blue in the face on what you may experiencing and maybe going through, but
Yeah.
it's just something about being in a relationship with someone that shares that commonality of culture, because
Mhm.
sometimes people just don't get it, and
Yeah.
it's okay for them to struggle with it, but you still have to learn because they've been together for 3 years,
Right.
so
And live
it's a
together and
1,000 days.
everything. Right.
So it's frustrating, but it seemed like from her perspective, the beginning of their relationship was good. It was happy. So
Mhm.
I'm just trying to figure out
Where
where
they
did it
went
go
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe even just being around the family kind of made it worse because sometimes that could do it.
Yeah,
You see, they seem to
yeah,
just say what they want to say, especially that grandmother.
yeah. Because with Tom, obviously he's not necessarily afraid to go out the box because he didn't hide his relationship with her. He, brought her to with the family, but he still didn't have her back. Like he didn't stand
Definitely not.
on business, as people would say. He didn't stand 10 toes down with
Right.
having her back in that situation, even though she kind of made some blunders. But I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot, he would share the same anger and frustration.
Right. Yeah, because it was definitely him saying that. It was definitely given like you're all like you always complaining about something. You always mad about something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we didn't really get to understand like like, you see how they gave us a backstory with her and her mom. We
Yeah.
didn't get that with them, so we're kind of just like dropped into the basically the end of their relationship.
Yeah.
Don't really know what's going on. So I
Yeah.
mean, it seemed like it was the best thing for them to break up. It just
I
didn't
agree.
seem like it was meant to be, and
No.
he couldn't handle her,
Yeah.
and she couldn't handle that. You know,
No.
I don't blame her. Like, I can't. And then the thing is, she never got to tell him, and I was wishing she would. I'm like, girl, just tell him. Like, really?
I feel like that would have, and that's the thing too, because I was thinking that, but a part of me was like, well, if she would have told him, maybe they would have stuck around and stuck it out a little longer.
Mm,
And that wasn't meant to be. So even
right.
though I was frustrated she didn't get to release her truth to him,
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of the very few times when I'm watching a show where I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I can make peace with him not knowing, because I feel like if he would have known, it maybe would have changed the trajectory of her growth.
Got you.
But it
Definitely.
was still frustrating,
Definitely.
girl.
Yeah.
But she didn't tell
Uh,
anyone, and she
yeah.
kept putting it off, and just having that type of experience and keeping it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's too
Yeah.
much to bear, as you put on the thumbnail. Bear problems.
Bear.
I was cackling. I said, "Oh, I cannot." I love their lingo.
Me
I love
too.
it.
Me too. I can't wait to go back to England. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna take a little, detour a little bit.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about her grandparents. Look who her
Oh,
grandfather is.
I
Freaking
know.
Jeffrey.
I was so happy to see him. I've
Yeah.
seen the grandmother. She was on Top Boy the last season.
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking at her like, why she look so familiar?
Yeah, so I was happy to see her. But perfect casting.
Yes. Oh my
Perfect.
gosh.
I love them.
So I love them also, and I think what happened when they did the little backstory on them, it kind of broke my heart and disappointed
Oh,
me, because I'm like, girl, what went wrong? He seems like he's such a good man. Like,
mhm.
I do not understand. Like, it's so sad because as much as it seems so hard to find a good guy, and
Uh-huh.
it's like they always get with a woman that does them like that. And
Yeah.
one thing that I feel like we didn't get resolved, or we didn't get that question answered is, does he know, or did she ever tell him? We never, it didn't seem like it to me, but there was a feeling like in the air that was like, maybe he know a little something something, and they talked about it.
There were two instances that made me feel like he knew.
Yeah.
Um, the last instance when Queenie was going through like her therapy,
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned like, hey, we have to learn from this new generation. Maybe if we
You
talked about
um
things when we were younger, and he
exactly.
stated, not verbatim, but pretty much letting her know like, anything you would have told me back then, I would have understood. So that kind of gave me the inkling
Yeah.
that he knew.
Yeah.
I feel.
And that white lady knew too, it seemed like,
Yes.
because she was like, that baby's not, she's not dark as the everybody else. She's like, don't worry, her color will
Yeah.
come.
I'm
A
like, mind
white
your
lady
business.
telling her that.
Like, mind your business.
Right. Her color will come. Oh snap, man. So here's the thing, is Sylvie's dad the other dude from Jamaica?
I feel it is. I feel it
I
is.
hope not, because I love him. He was such a nice man. But I ain't like how she did him though. But yeah.
Yeah, but he stuck it through. He loved her, and it's weird because I never got that she was just. It was like a malicious thing, like, I'm cheating on you. Like, I feel like she
Mm-hmm.
may have gotten caught up, even though cheating is never excusable. But I
Yeah.
just feel like she may have gotten caught up, or may have been betwixt two guys. I don't know, but maybe because I love the them now.
Mm-hmm.
And we did see the flashback, but I just never got like she's like a horrible person, like she
Right.
got
It
caught
just
up in
seems so
something that,
crazy.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show too, like, you know how you got these people, and I was thinking about this the other day, how you've got these people with these numbers, they've been married for 40 years, this and that, and the third, you be like, child, that ain't, don't, just because they got been married that long, don't mean they ain't been through some
Yes.
hell, child, or some things. They be looking all
Yes.
happy and great, and then, yeah, it's because they too old to be out there dipping and doing it like they did last time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay?
I don't think I've seen
Please.
any older couple that don't give you that look like, girl, you
Right.
wanna
You be like,
know?
what y'all was doing? Wonder what y'all been through. Wonder what he put you through. Wonder what she put you through.
Uh-huh. And it was easier back then on some level. Men had families down the street and
Mm.
never, some people don't find out until the funeral.
Ooh, yeah. Child.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yep, that's a fact. All right. So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about with the parents?
I just want to touch on this. I love this show, brought a lot of emotions, right? I literally
Mm-hmm.
cried a couple times. I
Oh,
laughed. I was mouth wide open, surprised. But I love the cultural aspect
yes.
of the show, as you mentioned. I'm not of Jamaican descent, but I still resonated, with the show. Like just
Mm-hmm.
even her, the grandmother washing Queenie's back in the
Yes.
tub. Like
In
I
the tub.
love those scenes and just little Queenie's little things she would say. Like even though this is not like necessarily a Caribbean thing, because I shared too. She was like telling the guy, her coworker, that's a whole nother thing. That I don't wear my outside clothes on my bed. Like
Right. Thank you. Crazy? Ugh.
drunk as a skunk, but I still have values, sir.
Exactly. I don't wear my outside clothes on my bed. No, no, no.
And I share those sentiments. Okay.
Yes. So that was, yeah, it was definitely amazing. I loved it. The thing about, before we got to meet the whole, not meet, but before we were introduced to like the issue with Queenie and her
Mm-hmm.
mom, we kept hearing the family saying, Queenie, your mother, you gotta call your mom and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, she's just like, ugh, why are they trying to force me? And then one day we did see her kind of like dreaming, and then she
Mm-hmm.
woke up scared, like, Mom. And I kind of was afraid. I was like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me that something's gonna happen to her mom, and
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna regret the fact that she didn't call or she didn't reach out. You know what I mean? Because then she
Mm.
kept saying stuff like, I'll reach out to her.
Yeah,
But you know what I
that's
mean? So I
true.
was kind of afraid. I'm like, oh gosh, don't do this.
Yeah.
But then she showed up at church, the mama.
Queen said, I'm never praying to anybody else again.
Yeah. And she touching her shoulder and everything. I'm like, oh. And remember they was dancing to the song, She's Raya, so Raya. I was like, oh. And then she's like, Queenie, come dance with us.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like, I felt like she, at first, before I knew the whole story, I felt like she was being too hard on the mom, because
Mm.
because I was going off of what Aunt Maggie was saying. Like
Okay.
Aunt Maggie kept saying, "It's not your fault. You know this and that. You were scared, or you did everything you could, or da, 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 whatever." You know what I'm saying? Aunt
Yeah.
Maggie was so like understanding, or just she just got her little sister's back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it made me feel like there's something that Queenie doesn't know. But then when we get to the flashback, child, she done left the girl in the place all by herself. I was like, whoa. No, why did she call you the abandoner?
Yeah. And that's interesting because I immediately knew, I don't know why, but I immediately felt that Queenie was justified in whatever she was feeling,
Mm-hmm.
because I kind of go through similar things in my family where the elders, they have this thing, right? Um, Regardless of whatever, your elder does, you have to forgive them. You have to be the one to forgive. You have to one, to reach out, or it's always, on the younger generation to complete action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of experienced that in my life too, where regardless of what the mother or the parent or the elder does wrong, I was always expected to forgive. So maybe
Yeah.
that's why I resonated and felt that she was valid in whatever her mom did. Because I don't know why, and maybe because we're traumatized with so
Mm-hmm.
much shows about drug use, but I thought maybe her mom was like the addict or something. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what was going on with the mom, but I just felt that Queenie, based on what she was dealing with in life, I felt like it came like it was definitely deep rooted.
Yeah. So it definitely was. We see that her mom eventually, she showed up for Christmas, and Queenie just during that time where they were dancing, Aunt Maggie and Sylvie, Queenie like really got a bad panic attack, and she had to run out. So when by the time we find out what happened, we know that she had a boyfriend named Roy who was beating on her and stuff. And so she eventually left Queenie there in the house by herself. And when Queenie said, "How come you can't just drop me off to the parents, who to Grandma and Grandpa's house?" She said, "Because they'll ask questions." And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Ugh, Sheila, there's food in the fridge. Is this? Is that? That?" And I'm like, "This is crazy. What's going on?"
That was so. And what was interesting to me, like, did you and then the mom Sylvie and Roy find a whole nother place to live? Like, I was trying to figure out exactly where this place was that she, the flat that she left her, because I'm like, okay,
Right.
obviously the mom, Sylvie and Roy were living or working out
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else. Like,
Right.
it was so awkward, and I feel like. And I don't really have complaints about the show, but I just would have loved a little more like
A little more.
context when it comes to
Yeah.
certain things.
So yeah, me too. So from my understanding, this is I think a book. So they might have
Oh,
more in the book.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because in the book gives you a lot more detail.
Yeah, okay, that's good to
So,
know.
yeah, but that's from my understanding. I have to go back
Okay.
because but that I do want to say that you're right because there are some things that were just like, I need, like you said, I need a little more explanation. Like, what was the reason behind her leaving her daughter there? And then you got this money that you were fighting so hard for, you went to court for, and then you got it back, and then you gifted Queenie with it so she could get her own flat and all of this. And I'm like, and she sure got herself one too, cause that little rinky dink, cause she was in the one with the other girls. She was in a room
Mm-hmm.
where she was going through her whole phase, which we will talk about in a minute. That's coming up next. A whole phase near you. Ciao.
Mm.
So the flat and the money that she gave her, there was just no real explanation. Roy sounded like he took advantage of her and took it or whatever. I'm pretty sure he didn't take it. I mean, she was
It,
an abused woman. She probably was afraid and she gave it up. I mean,
I don't know. It because it seemed like okay, even if Sylvie had, because Sylvie gave her a check for $12,000. I had to zoom in on the check, right? So
mm-hmm.
I'm just like, okay, yeah, I had this battle in court. Like, did she come into a lump sum of money, some sort of inheritance? Like, because Sylvie didn't seem like she. I don't like I said, I don't want to judge her profession, but it didn't seem like she, made a lot of money per se, or
Yeah.
it was just very open and confusing with
Right. Where
this
did
whole
she
court
get
case.
that initial 12,000 that he took from her?
Yeah.
Right? In order, because that's what he got back. That's what she fought so hard for in the court. But it was like,
Yeah.
okay, where did you get it from in the first place?
Yeah, I'm
You know.
still baffled about that.
All right. Well, yeah. I don't want to dig too much because I did like the show. So, you don't want to be just scratching my head, though. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's all up in through the book. But, all right. So, let's take it down for a minute. We're going to go back to the how everything ends with Mama and the daughter.
Mm.
But after her and Tom break up, she is like, there is no daggone way that I'm moving in with my family. Of course, the grandmother's like, you can always stay here. I loved her little cousin, Diana.
I loved her too. I love her
She,
whole family. I mean, they
yes. Um, remember that time Diana came over? She was like, just rung the bell. And she's like, you forgot you were supposed to look after me.
at first of all, I was like, you can't be in the house by yourself, Diana.
Right. Exactly.
like, like you came over to babysit her. Like, oh, he ordered food and everything. That was
Right.
hilarious.
Not playing around. So she's like, okay, whatever. So they doing their thing. They order the food, blah, blah, blah. But I want to get into the whole phase thing because, girl, this was terrible. This was a very terrible phase. Like, I was like, girl, what are you doing? Now, mind you, they put something in her vajayjay after, I think it was some type of, whatever it was some type of screw, I think they said. I mean, obviously, it's not a screw a
Yeah.
coil.
Yeah, coil.
Yeah, I gotta slow it back. I gotta take.
Okay.
Slow it
take,
down.
take your time, baby.
Gotta take my time. She breaks up with Todd.
Tom.
Tom. Oh my gosh. There's a few T's up in this show
Yeah.
too, guys. She breaks up with Tom, but it was like she moved out and it wasn't like a breakup, but she kept texting him. She was getting on my nerves how she was acting mad
Yes.
thirsty texting him. I'm like, he's not texting you back. Like, stop. Even if you feel this way, don't let them know.
Exactly. She was, I wanted to take her phone a few times.
Yes, and then so finally he texts back like clean break. Like, what the heck? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like, there's no, I don't want no contact with you, girl. That, like, no contact.
Yeah. Like,
So she goes to a party, I think, of a mutual friend of theirs, I think they all know. And then there's a guy there, I think he was like trans or something, and he like
yes.
made her start a dating profile. I'm like, give me my phone. Like, the heck? So she over there taking pictures, this and that, doing a profile. Then she hit up, oh, I know what to do. She kept going back to this whole notion of, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know exactly who to get to. So, like, basically who to get under to get over Tom. And I was like, oh my God. So who did she call? Nasty Adi. That little nasty ninja who was a married child.
Let's put that dude around the block that be trying to talk to everybody.
Yes, just totally disgusting.
You keep saying sheesh. Just like, dude, me up. Oh my God. I was like,
you're right. So she winds up hitting him up saying, yeah, we could get up later, whatever. But she was so drunk that she fell asleep in the tub. And he's over there like calling her, and she's just knocked out. Okay. So now after this, the whole phase begins. And she starts hitting her. And the sad thing about it is, on that dating app, no one ever said anything about trying to have a relationship. Everything was sexual. Every last message. All they wanted was, oh, you look like this. I could do. They were sending eggplants.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do it all night. This and that.
Yeah.
Did you see something different?
There was one.
Oh, one I want to pull your hair. Like,
mentioned he liked her taste in movies and he would like to go see a movie one time.
Okay, because I didn't.
That was the only, and I had to go back. Girl, I was reading. I was reading, but every other one was definitely on her physical and sexual. But it was just the one. And it went by fast. It went by fast.
It went by fast. Like, everything. It was just sex. I was like,
some apps are just for that, honestly, because they're dating sites and then they're like hookup sites apps. So
okay, so was it a hookup site? Because that's what it was acting like. I don't know.
I thought it was a dating site, but now I'm talking it out. I know, like, there are specific ones where it's just for hooking up. So I don't know which one she was a part of.
Yeah, because, child, that's all she was doing. So after she was doing her thing with every different men, this and that, she kept texting her little group chat with her friends. Her friends, Darcy and Cassandra and hold on, don't say it yet, girl. I wanted to try to remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love her too.
I know. Cheske, right? You said Cheske. That's so weird. I would never, just looking at that name, I would never pronounce it like that. That's crazy.
No, I was just like, maybe me as a cultural thing, but I would not have got her name right if I read it.
That was crazy. That thing started with a K, this, that, and third. Cheske? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So she was letting them know, like, I've been having sex, I've been doing this, and then after she's finished having the roughest sex, or just whatever kind of, like, the wildest. We were doing this, the wildest. Yeah, I'm like, are you crazy? And so then now let's go here, because this is who she meets at Darcy's little thing. And I was like, oh my God. So he said that his name is Guy, and child, whatever he was doing to her was it had to be terrible because she knew daggone well she did not like it. Because she kept on saying, "Can we be gentle this time?" or this and that, and but she just kept letting him rough her the heck up to the point where she goes to the gynecologist and they're like, "Your stuff is like ruptured and whatever."
Yeah. I think she's being abused. She couldn't sit on the toilet right. Like it was a lot.
Yes, yes.
But Kid, okay, so I watched this twice, right? Because I'm like, okay, I just want to watching it as a whole. I want to go back and rewatch it.
Hmm.
The coworker,
Is it Darcy?
Darcy,
Hmm.
because she was in this scene as well, right?
Yes.
But it's weird because Darcy's vibe was like, I don't like y'all communicating, but I'm
Hmm.
not going to say anything.
Mm.
So I was
Mm.
so confused about that because, and maybe she knows her friend is kind of going through this phase, maybe, but it just
Yeah.
definitely felt like she knew Guy, or I don't know. It was just a weird vibe I felt from the
Yeah.
coworker.
Like, what is he doing there? But remember, and I think it's more like what you said about, I know you going through a lot, girl. Like,
Mhm.
you shouldn't be, And plus, I need you to focus. Like, I asked you to help me with
That is true. It
something.
was a work event.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and she just I didn't like how she did that to her, or how Queenie did that to her. She kind of just like brushed her off. Still, like she's like, just forget it. I'll do it or whatever. This and that. I would be like, I'm sorry, girl. I'm coming. I'm coming. Like she just was
Yeah.
still like penis, penis, penis. I'm like, girl, you've had enough.
Yeah, there were several instances where they showed how Queenie was very just self-involved. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a couple of times where she would be talking to Darcy, and Darcy's trying to, share and include her what she had going on, and it's immediately, no, I want to talk to you about what I got going on. Like she was
Mm-hmm.
being very self-centered
Yeah.
on a lot of occasions.
True. And even when they were talking, like on the roof scene, and we'll get
Hmm.
to that in a minute, how they were talking on the roof scene, and they were talking about holding, I think it was Cassandra talking about, oh, we hold hands, we do this, we do that. She's like, I wish someone would hold hands with me, or, like, she's kind of like comparing, or just
Yeah.
kind of like, you know what I mean? Self pity and all that.
Yeah.
So here's something that I want to bring up, okay? We know that she, out of all the men that she has dated on this site, now one of them was black. Okay,
Hmm.
so we see that her type is white.
Hmm.
Even though she did go get it in with ID, but that was just because like that girl was just bugging out. But so I started to watch, and
Hmm.
I'm like, is this an issue here? And I realized that it had to be kind of an issue because they were making it a thing because Cheske even kept saying, maybe you need to see about dating black men. Like she kept trying to push, like, go see what's going on our side as well, because you keep
Hmm.
on doing things over here, maybe it's not working. Da, da, da. And then we had Frank, who we're gonna get to. He would even say, like, I know what that guy did to your mom, and I wouldn't do you like that.
Hmm.
So it started to come together as she is looking at what she experienced seeing her mom go through with Roy, a black man. She
Hmm.
figured, hey, let me stay away from all of those men, and I'm clear, right? I
Exactly.
won't get that treatment. However, it's so ironic that she's allowing herself to actually be abused
Hmm.
during sex, but she must think because sex is like a intimate type of situation, she's probably not looking at it as is sex, and she's consenting as well. But yet this guy is tearing her vagina up.
Yeah.
You're literally being abused right now,
Hmm.
and you have no clue. It was crazy to me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, girl,
Yeah.
you needed therapy.
She's pretty much grasping for any sort of intimacy as she possibly can.
Hmm.
You know, and the relationship ended with Tom, of course, without uh her wanting it. It was kind of not her decision. And I'm thinking, okay, she's 25. She's been with Tom for 3 years, so it looks like right after college, She got with this guy. She never really had time to herself, time alone. And I feel like when you go through such trauma that she's been through, you try to occupy yourself. Even though you should have space between relationships, she was just trying to just occupy her time, grasping for any sort of intimacy. But yes, when they had the roof scene with the girls, Cheske did ask her, like, try some melanin. And she kind of said in her head, Queenie, like, she said it's not as easy
Right.
as that.
Yeah.
So maybe even if she felt an attraction to a melanated person, the trauma just superseded anything. So I think it's definitely a lot of trauma there, unfortunately.
Yeah. So speaking of attraction, we're gonna get back to Guy. We have to. We gotta finish Guy out. But speaking of attractions to somebody with some melanin, I could not find a forward facing picture of this man. Oh my gosh, only this one. So we saw a little something between them. We know that they went to high school together. We saw how he kept talking to her. You can tell that he really respected her. He was definitely looking out for her. The thing that used to get me pissed off about her is that she couldn't see what he was throwing. She was not catching it.
Yeah.
Instead, she kept saying, "What was that all about? What was that all about?" Girl, he's not freaking knocking on your door to give you back no pin. Are you serious?
Blind.
What was that one about? Like,
she was blind. But also, I feel like, I don't know, it's no excuse, because I wanted to justify it, because you know how sometimes you've been friends with someone for so long, or this is her best friend's cousin, so sometimes you're not even thinking about them like that. Like, even though he's cute, like, that's borderline my cousin. Like, maybe it was that, but I do feel like she had the blinders on, because if he wasn't Caucasian, she didn't understand what was going on.
Right. But then it was like it seemed like they might have liked each other a little bit back in the day or something. Because remember, in her head, when he said something, he said, "You know what I like about you," or this and that. Well, what I always liked about you, or whatever. And she was like, "This is how he used to get me to leave class in high school." So it was like, what did y'all used to be doing? They probably just used to just talk and walk or whatever. They probably never did nothing, but it was that unspoken thing with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna it's all about the white guys, and come on, man.
I know.
So anyway, so he starts coming around more. He's checking on her and stuff, but he's doing things more and more that show that he is interested.
Yeah.
And then even one time when she came over, and I think he was painting the house and stuff, and Cheske came, like, she fell asleep, and then I think, what did she say to him? She said something about, "I can't do this because then you probably wouldn't like me anymore," or something. Do you remember what she said to him? I forgot what it was. Like, I don't know if she was saying, I can't tell you everything because then you wouldn't like me anymore, or something she said. I forgot.
Yeah, it's something of the sort, something like that. Yeah, because she was exhausted from because she fainted in therapy. But yeah, she did say something of the sort, but I can't recall exactly the line. But it was more so like, I don't want to share because it would make me not be such in a good light.
Right. And so she fell asleep, and he put the covers over her, and then Cheske, yes, right. And then Cheske came in talking about some. Listen, our girl don't need that. Like, you have commitment issues, all of this. Like, she like, stay away from Queenie. Like, it wouldn't be good for her.
Exactly.
So I was like, oh girl, Cheske, don't get in it.
No, because 9 times out of 10, that'd be accurate. I feel like this is like the 1 percentile of where things will go right. Because 9 times out of 10, the cousin just want to smash and be on his merry way. But this is the one instance where I would allow it.
And that's the thing, you can tell the way he was. Like, you can tell. Like, even when certain times if Queenie wasn't there and Cheske, they texting or whatever, and it was him and her there, him and Cheske there, and Cheske said something about, I don't know, you know her, she's probably going back to Tom, or Tom trying to get back together. He was like, do you think she's gonna do it? You know, like
Yeah, she
he
deserves
really,
better.
we didn't like, and we didn't know how much he was thinking about her until like those little moments, and then he'll show up out of nowhere, and then he was trying to go to that exhibit or whatever that
Yeah.
was, that he knew she was gonna be there.
Like he knew her. Like he.
Yes. So he's just giving too much energy for somebody that just want to smash. And plus he know
Yeah.
her since, you know, high school.
Yeah. But
So I was like, yes to the 1% on Frank.
yeah, because I mean, I grew up with a family full of boys, and I didn't know none of my friends near my cousins.
Right. Get away.
Even though, even though I did felt that they was being extra nice to one, or being, very, I'm like, no, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Because that could ruin friendships too. So
Yes.
yeah, I get it.
So before we came on, I was listening to like this little interview type of video with the actor, and he was saying, the one that plays Frank, and he was saying that Frank is a guy with commitment issues, but he also feels like he's missing something. So, and sometimes, a lot of times, I think when people have commitment issues, but some people, they know what they want. And when they see it, that's, they go after it.
That's exactly how I perceive it. Yeah.
And they won't have commitment issues after that, because
exactly.
She found nobody to commit to. So that, not the person that they wanted. And so he was kind of explaining, he didn't say all that, but he was saying that it was something missing.
You can tell she filled the void. Even the friend, the rapper that worked at Claire's, that was hilarious. But he said, what other girl you gonna know that's gonna be interested in this exhibit stuff? You can tell he's probably messing with, different type of women. So when he has a girl of substance, you can kind of tell like she feels that for me. So yeah, you could tell. Yeah, and sometimes you gotta, run through a few, I'd rather him have his phase and then be in a relationship, versus, it seemed like they were both mature enough to move on, because I love the conversation they had at the end, but we'll get there.
Yes, me too. So we need to go back real quick to old Guy and talk. We're going to finish the Guy story. So Guy, first of all, let's go back to the rooftop. Okay. Now at the rooftop, Cassandra didn't let the girls know that she had a man now. So Queenie is like, what? Like, you're dating somebody? Like, you didn't tell me. She's like, it's kind of new. I didn't want this, that, da, da, da. And she's talking about how, they hold hands, they do this, they do that. And she did like some type of girlfriend test on him or something like that. And so, now we get back to Guy.
Which is a red flag. I'm sorry, that name is a red flag to me, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, because it turned out not to be his name.
Yeah, because she was like, my guy. She said my guy a couple times, but of course, you think she thought. Yeah, Cassandra said, my guy. And I was like.
But wasn't that his name? Wasn't his name something else, though, when he was with Cassandra? I thought so, but maybe I'm wrong.
I know when she was with they was playing
something with her dad, whatever that game was.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of the name, but she said, she called him Babe. So I don't know if there was another scene.
Okay. All right. I thought it was a different name, because she said the name and then it zoomed up to his face. Yeah. So I always thought it was a different name.
She said, Hun, your turn, Hun. And then that's where he put the word cheat. You put the word cheat. Scrabble. Is it Scrabble, right?
It probably was, child.
Yeah, it was Scrabble.
Woo! See, I watched it one time. Now you see, I should have been digging like you. It was okay. Put cheat. Yeah. Yes. Oh, you texting this? Okay. Like at one point, I did have to pause it and get up on the screen. Like, wait, what are you saying? Because not for him, but just certain stuff. Because
I keep the closed caption on.
Yeah, no. I had the closed caption on, but I'm talking about like with the text and the messages.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I was like, I need to see what's going on. I had to pause it. Like, what's this?
I'm like that too.
Shit. So, I thought the rooftop scene was interesting. We had Cassandra saying that, I'm not having sex with him or nothing like that. And Queenie's like, why would you deprive yourself like that? And it's like, what? Girl, you've been doing a lot. You need to slow down.
Yeah.
You giving yourself too freely. That's why nobody's respecting you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're gonna close out Guy, who turns out I think was this New Year's Eve or
I
after?
want to say, I thought it was Halloween, right? It was
No, 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 not
confusing, right?
no, no, not this one.
Oh, on the roof.
That night when he came to her house knocking on the door, she don't want nothing to do with him no more.
Yeah, because the night
But
before she was like, doing her little resolutions and stuff. So
yeah,
yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
he came knocking on the door and he's like, Queenie, let me in, da da da. Everything was about sex with him, and she was just like, no, we're not doing this anymore. So long story short, he has to sleep on the couch, even though he tried to go up to her room, and she left and went to sleep
Mm-hmm.
on the couch, like she really wasn't playing with him. So
Yeah.
then Cassandra comes over the next morning, and it was like, what are the odds? By this time, we know that she's dealing with
Mm-hmm.
him, and he sees her, she sees him. But first, he's calling her actually,
Yeah.
and Cassandra recognizes the voice, like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, and sees him, and it's revealed. And I was so disappointed at Cassandra's reaction and how
Yeah.
she lashed out at Queenie.
Yeah.
So I wanted Queenie to just seriously snuff her, but like she was really disgusting, telling her that's why nobody wants you. Like, are
Yeah.
you serious? She didn't even know.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about that?
Okay, there's a couple things.
Okay.
One, I wouldn't let Guy up in my house, okay?
Mm-mm.
Because first of all, you drunk. I thought something like volatile was really going to happen there.
Yeah,
I was
he
a
was
little,
scary. He was
yeah, I
scary
was a
to
little
me.
nervous, and then it was just weird, right? Because when we saw him with Cassandra and her dad, he was very like clean cut. Because it took me a minute to realize when they panned up. I'm like, okay, who? I couldn't put two and two together at first, and I was like, oh, this is Guy, right? Because his hair was pushed back, but every time with Queenie, he's all rough, drunk, and
Mm.
unkept. So I'm like, okay, is he dealing with psychological issues? I guess, is he bipolar or something? Because
Yeah.
he was definitely showing two different sides of the coin with each woman. And sometimes
Right.
people do that. They kind of fit the mold based on who they
Mm-hmm.
feel you are, or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very peculiar, and this was another thing. I'm like scratching my head. How did Cassandra and Guy meet? Because this is too much of a coincidence. I mean,
Yeah.
Brixton is not that small, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever they are.
Whatever.
It was weird, and that's what made me feel that
Darcy.
Darcy knew him, because I'm like, okay, this is not like a small world after all. Like,
Right.
because that's what I'm saying. If Cassandra knew him, he shows up at their company party,
Mm-hmm.
and Darcy's the other friend. Like, I don't know, it's just too much of a coincidence for me to feel like somebody didn't know something.
Yeah.
It was just very odd. But yeah, Cassandra was out of pocket. Even though I understood her hurt, she took it out on the wrong person.
She sure did. Like, and the crazy thing is, like, hey, Miss Kira,
Hey.
the crazy thing is, like, you're taking it out on the wrong person. Like,
Yeah.
you literally know that Queenie
Yeah.
doesn't know that this is your man, because
Yeah.
you never introduced her. You
Mm-hmm.
never told her the name, right? Like,
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah.
So how are you mad?
Yeah.
I can understand you being hurt, but how are you mad?
Yeah.
And not even hurt from her, from Queenie, from him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it
I
was
think it
just,
was a lack of respect there. And
yeah,
Cassandra gives like, I bet even though I'm your friend, I feel like I'm better than you.
I'm better
And
than you.
how could you have that one up on me? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and the only good thing, I hate to even say this about this, they both were smashing them because Cassandra wasn't giving up the goods. So that's the
Right.
only good thing, even though Queenie,
Yeah.
she still could have an SDTD or whatever. But
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just like, at least Cassandra, you can at least say, you guys weren't smashing the dude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that would have been extra weird, but
Yes.
it was a lot.
It's a lot. So that kind of seemed to end their friendship, because Queenie wound up working at some type of like coffee shop or
Yeah.
something, and Cassandra came and she wound up serving her. She's like, "What are you doing here?" Because we're gonna talk about it. Queenie gets let go of her job from her job, so
Mm-hmm.
she's like, working, stuff. So she was like, trying to apologize. Oh, me and Guy are not together. This and that. She's like, okay, like, and then so she was like, we're not good. Like, just because you came here to whatever did she say you came here to like apologize, or you said whatever you said? I forgot exactly what she said. But she was just basically like, we're not good. Like, so I was
Yeah.
like, good, because she kind of showed her true colors.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say stuff like that to somebody. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was like, good for you. You don't need her as a friend.
Yeah, I was happy with her decision to like keep it cute,
Yeah.
cordial,
Mm-hmm.
but still be mature enough, like, okay, I'm being cool and nice to you and give you good customer service, but
Mm-hmm.
we are not friends.
No, we're not. And so, yes, and that closes the guy issue and the Cassandra issue,
Yes.
okay?
Ooh.
So we also saw that she tried to go back to whatchamacallit when stuff was really hitting the fan for her. Queenie tried to go back to Tom, and the way
Mm-hmm.
Tom kept looking behind like, Queenie, you really need to go. I'm like, she got
Yeah.
a girl up there, girl. Why don't you see that? There's a lady up there.
I'm like, Queenie, I don't know. It's like she smarts, but maybe when it comes to love, she just lacks the intelligence there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she
Yeah.
was still all in her emotions. You know, it was frustrating. That was the scene where I'm like, girl, just say it. Say what happened.
Yeah. Say you were pregnant. Yeah. Say it. Say you were pregnant and you didn't know you had a miscarriage. Like, just say it. Like, girl,
Exactly.
come on. But he sure moved on, and that's what Frank told him. He was like, I guarantee you, he is having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, leave him alone. You know what I'm
Probably a week
saying?
later, he was back at it. Okay.
Yes, he was like, I guarantee you. And you saw where he went, right? He went on home.
Exactly.
Because he can't
She be at
handle.
every dinner. Hmm.
Yes. Without any issues. Okay. Now, one thing I want to double back on a little bit is with the roughness that she was had that rough sex that she was having
Yeah.
with a guy who tore her up. Um, she kept saying stuff like she remembers the gentle sex that, I guess, or whatever, that she was having with Tom. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you when you compare that, it's like you don't realize that you're getting abused. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think she was trying to fool herself.
yeah.
Even after the first time with the guy, she was like, well, Tom, he never did this. Maybe I do like this. Like, it's like
Mm,
she was trying to fit the mold or whatever was convenient to her at that point. Tom wasn't available, so this guy's available. I'ma just suit myself based on how he's treating me, because
yeah.
she's very indecisive and unsure herself. So she's not even understanding what she needs and what she wants. She just trying to microwave her feelings. And
Yeah, and that's what she was saying. Like, I
yeah,
don't even know myself. I don't even know who I am myself or whatever. But
yeah,
you're right. Yeah. So Miss Kira said, I don't know how Queenie didn't catch on. I was waiting. I know. Like, I thought she was like, even other characters in other shows be like, do you have somebody in it? Like, what's going?
yeah,
You know what I mean? She just was talking and talking and talking. He kept
yeah,
looking behind, and I'm like, come on. He's
yeah.
giving you all the signs, all the
All the
body
time.
language
Like, you
that
shouldn't be here. Like, he was like, and even at the when she was
you
ringing
really
the
need to
bell,
go.
yeah, he was like, "Oh, not you, not now." I'm like, "What?" Like, it's raining. Like, but he did let her in, but still, I
Yeah.
don't know. She was like, "Well, just let me get my stuff off. Let me just, girl, just say it." I would have left before I got out that door. You gonna know what is going on, okay? I don't care, new woman or not. Both
Yes,
y'all
like,
gonna be in for some news.
right. Like, let me just tell you, sheesh. Oh my gosh, she needed to get that off her chest. But I'm glad she finally went to therapy,
Yes,
because
I
she
love
needed
that.
to get all of that stuff out, because it was
Yes.
just crazy. So we're gonna talk really quick about her boss. We know that she has some sex on the bathroom floor.
Oh
It
my
wasn't
god.
me. I was like, what? On Christmas Day when she ran out, she had the anxiety. So you rather go and have sex on the bathroom floor, getting degraded like crazy by Ted, who was actually cute.
Yeah.
Um,
He's giving me like a Justin Timberlake vibes when he gets all
yeah,
freaky. I don't know.
and she said he was, cucumberish, and I was just like, oh my gosh, stop, girl, just stop, okay? And on the bathroom floor, I was
All I could think about
disgusted.
was the germs on the braids. Like, girl,
That's
did you go
all
home and
I
wash
could
the
think
braids in
about.
that scalp? I'm sorry. I'm one for spontaneity, but that ain't gonna be it. I'm sorry. We ain't got no copy room.
Oh my.
No
And then
conference room.
and then to come find out how weird he was acting after the fact, and then His wife comes up to the job, so that's how we know. So that's
Wow.
the second married dude this chick has messed with.
Yeah.
And then when we
Yeah.
get to the flashback, we find out that, a little
Yeah.
curse was going on because her mama got pregnant by a married man.
Exactly. But it was weird because and I didn't have time to go back because I'm like, did Ted never wear a ring to work? Like, what was that about? Like, you never, or did you not pay attention? Because he
Right.
said you was calling him your friend in the
Your
beginning,
friend.
and I
Exactly.
didn't like the way she felt the need to initiate the conversation. Like when she got back to
Right.
work, like just be
She
cool, like be
was
natural, let it happen naturally. You were so thirsty to be like,
she was
how was your
such
Christmas?
a thirst bucket like through this whole thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so annoying how thirsty you are. I just couldn't deal with
Yeah.
it.
And
I
just
feel
her
like,
at work, and maybe I'm traumatized because just, just being African American in corporate America, you have to conduct yourself in such a manner, but just coming in late, not telling your boss you got appointments, you coming in hung over,
yeah,
you got, a scarf on your head. Like, I don't know. I just feel like she was
yeah.
just not even
She
trying to fly under the radar, even though we're being looked at twice as hard as you see. When it comes down to it, they're not going to choose us if a situation
exact
happens.
right, right. But listen, this boss wasn't that bad, child. She wasn't that bad because if she saw that, she knew she was coming in late. Every time she was watching her, she knew she was drunk. She knew all of this,
Yeah,
and she didn't let her go.
no,
She was even
not
trying
at
to tell
all.
her, listen, take a mental break and all of it.
Yes,
Like she was really patient with
no,
her.
she was. She definitely looked out, kept her,
Yeah.
allowing her to stay on board to do therapy. Like she was
Mhm.
definitely looking out.
Yep. And even during that last story, she finally told her, okay, go ahead, do what you want to do with the story.
Mm-hmm.
But then the situation happened with Ted, and then of course, like you said, who they gonna choose?
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
thank goodness for that lady who always seemed to be like that nosy one, like, get out the
Yeah.
business. She spoke up for her, which was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But by that time, we had another African American woman that she met at the exhibit who wanted to work
Mm-hmm.
with Queenie. So that worked out, and she was just like, I don't want no, thank you,
Yeah.
no,
Everything aligned. Yeah.
exactly. So that was amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
So as we get ready to wrap it up, at the end we have
Mhm.
Queenie with the home warming. And if there's anything we didn't talk about, please let me know.
Okay.
We got Queenie at her little she makes a mistake and invites Tom to the housewarming and this guy. And I was like, no, 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 no. I don't want this. No, don't do this. But thankfully Frank said he can't come. But Frank
Yeah.
always got sign of his daggone. Frank like to just show up, child.
Yeah.
So he said no. I don't know if he got done with work early or whatever he's doing with his little
Yeah,
man.
he kind of said his job was done.
Yes, but he wind up showing up. And by this time we know that Queenie has this little dance break thing.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
cute.
And when she gets a little alarm when she starts dancing. I'm like, okay, girl, guys, it's cuter. This is cuter than what you was doing in the club. You got a little more rhythm than you had in the club scenes when he
Girl.
was making fun of her.
But when the chick assaulted her, that was
Oh
interesting.
yeah,
Ooh, that pissed
uh,
me off.
yeah,
Sorry.
that was crazy. And the black guy kicked them out.
Yes. Like, oh,
Hey, your queen. Welcome to my other
hey.
channel. This is the channel that I'll be reviewing non-crime drama, okay? So I wanted to separate the crime drama from the nons and of course my little Game of Thrones stuff. So I'm going to be reviewing House of the Dragon over here as well, okay? And doing some reaction videos with my family. All right. So thank you. Welcome. And I hope you watched Queenie, your queen, because it is so good and so quick to
Very.
watch because it's only like 20 minutes an
Yes.
episode. Yeah. So before we see, no, 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 not before. He shows up. He's got a little gift and all that. He was bonding. We saw him bond with the granddad before too,
Yes, the
right? During
sign.
her birthday. So that was cute. So the granddad likes him. But then when he shows up, he's always showing up with a gift. He just makes me smile.
Yeah.
He's always showing up with a gift. And so while they were talking, she did the dance, the little alarm goes
Mm-hmm.
off, and he's like, well, he was all up in her phone, okay?
Yes.
So
No
he's like,
date.
Dance break, what is that? And so she's like, oh, I started doing this dance thing because she said, what does it help with like stress and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, all right, so come on. And she was like, what, here?
Got new neighbors.
Right. And he was like, yeah. So he goes and put the, music on. And this is what I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about with the soundtrack. Okay. We got the
Oh
A.
my
Marie.
god,
They was
so
bringing stuff
nostalgic.
back. Okay.
I cried.
Now,
This is one of the police scenes where I cried. I don't know.
oh, I know. It really was like romantic. And she let him hug her.
Yes, and he was
Oh,
he was holding on,
oh
baby.
yeah.
I've been waiting 20 years for this. That's what it feels like.
Why don't we fall in love? That was too
Oh,
cute. And what about when, okay, so before this, she had a dream and he was
yes,
in the dream and they had birthday sex by Jeremiah coming.
yes.
I was like,
I remember them days. Child.
and she did, yes, and she did not want her grandmother coming in there waking her up. So this is when she has this epiphany, like, oh snap,
You're like,
okay,
oh,
I
I
got
love
me
you.
some feelings for Frank,
Yes,
some
yeah,
chocolate.
his all white and his little cake. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yes.
I was like, yes, Queenie, yes.
Mm-hmm. So in Queenie's mind, she's saying like, I know that Frank wouldn't treat me like how Roy did my mom, but I just have to like trust that. And
Yeah,
so as a confirmation, when he came, he said it. He said, I know what happened and I wouldn't, I would never do you like that. And she's like, well, if we're going to make something happen, I just need time.
yes,
So I feel like she wasn't saying we're not going to do anything. I just need you to be patient with me.
yeah.
And it's like, I got you. And they was kissing and all
Oh,
this stuff, girl. And just to do like a little bit of a scratching.
uh-huh.
What happens as they're kissing?
Tom was like, Queenie, can we talk? Like,
Yes, like
but I felt I was a little just a little nervous, but I feel like this was necessary because first I was like, oh, he now got my stuff together. Now you want to come around? I thought I was
right.
creepy at that point because that's how they do. Oh, you got your ish together without me? Oh, okay, let me show up. I got played you for 3, 4. No, I feel like it was. I don't know how long you thought this was. It was given like this took several months or a year in terms of the
Yeah.
time span.
Mhm.
But I was a little afraid because Frank was just like, "Oh Lord," like you
Yeah.
could tell
He was
Frank
just
was a little
looking like,
nervous.
oh gosh. Like, what you gonna do, Queenie?
Yes,
We
but those roses in the trash. I was like,
saw them in the trash. Like, ah! I was
I was like
so
a proud
excited.
little mama / sister / cousin. I was just like, yes, girl.
Yes, that was so cool. It had that kudzu scene, and she, I think she was bringing some teeth to her
Yeah.
mom. But we saw the roses in the trash on the
Yes.
way, so we know that Tom, you're
No,
done.
no. Yeah. Yes.
Bye bye.
I love that.
Frank
And
is
I
done.
love the growth. Because and this is what I love about her and Frank, because Frank knows her ish. He knows about the mom. And she said, I just need patience, I need time. And you could tell he genuinely cared for her,
Yeah.
on another level. And it's a vast difference from how she was with Tom, because she was so adamant, like, this is my stuff, like, this is my stuff. She didn't want to share, she didn't want to open up. She never expressed what was wrong. Very
Yeah.
close. And of course she was taught that. But I love, like, through this process, she was able to, be vulnerable with Frank. Even
Yeah.
though he knows her stuff, and she's able to vocalize, hey, this is what I require, this is what I need. I
Yes.
love that for her.
Yes, me too. It was such a good, like, honestly, there was one little scratching my head moment at the very end, but like, I'm so satisfied with how this ended. I don't think I've been satisfied with the way a show ended in years. I feel like they've had this ongoing trend of disappointment after disappointment with shows. And so the way they did this, I was like, come on now. This is what I'm talking about. Even if everything wasn't answered, that's okay. It was satisfying.
Yeah.
It was satisfying. I'm
Yeah.
talking about good vibes. You know, we know drama happens in life. We know funny stuff happens. Like they was just giving you everything, and I was loving it. So
Would you mind sharing
yeah,
your?
yeah, yep. I'm about to
Oh,
right
okay,
now.
okay. I'm like, don't do that to me.
Now you know, I'm about to go. I'm about to go right into it.
Okay, okay.
So now that last scene with the mom, you know, and they were making their amends. She's sitting on the couch with her and everything, and she tells her mom, "I love you." And the mother was dead freaking silent. I'm like, Sylvie, like your daughter is finally talking to you, finally giving you the time of day, telling you she loves you, all this, and you have nothing to say. And so Queenie just looks at, like, she kind of broke the fourth wall and she says, "And I love me too."
Yeah.
And I was like, was that like a double, like, entendre type of thing where it was like, I'm answering for my mom since you don't want to say it to me, but I'm also saying that I love myself and I finally choose myself. Like, I was just like, what the heck happened here? Because I know the mom loves her, and I
Yeah.
think she knows the mom loves her.
Mhm.
We even heard Diana say she loves you bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your mom loves you bad, you know.
Yeah. I
But I
didn't.
just didn't get
Yeah,
it.
I see your perspective. I didn't see it that way. I thought it was more like a director's choice to kind of like,
Yeah.
just show and just her vocalize like I love myself. Like it took me so long to go through my ish. Like I finally at a place where I can say I love me because I've
Yeah.
illustrated so many ways where I did it. So, and I feel like the mom said it enough
Mm-hmm.
in her life the way she didn't need. But in that conversation, I get where you coming from. Like,
Yeah.
girl,
I
it's
felt
the
like
first time we're
she.
reciprocating. Like, chime
Yeah.
in. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't think about that. I love the fact because I cried there too, girl.
Oh.
I love me too. I was like,
Yeah.
I love
So
you.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I definitely believe it was a director's choice because it
Yeah.
is she is saying I finally love myself. I know my
Mm-hmm.
worth, all of that. But that's what I'm saying. I thought it was like a double meaning. Like, okay, you ain't gonna say you love, okay, well I love me.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't
Yeah.
that was just me like looking at it kind of like both
Yeah.
ways. But
Yeah.
it just kind of bothered
Yeah.
me a little
Yeah.
bit
I
like
didn't.
why didn't you say I love you,
Yeah. Yeah. I
Sylvie?
didn't take it as Queenie questioning it.
No,
Cause
no,
she.
no.
Oh, you.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Not I'm not saying that she was questioning it. I was just
She was
saying
just
like that was
saying.
just her response. Like,
I
okay,
see.
well,
Okay.
and I love me too. Like, I'm gonna look straight. Like, okay, you ain't got nothing to say. Well, I love me too. And I think that's the reason why the choice, like you said, that's the reason why they didn't have her say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like the perfect timing for Queenie to say it.
Yeah.
But it just kind of it was one of those little nitpicky annoying
Got it.
things for me, especially with everything that they went through. It was like, "Mommy, I'm going to need you to say something, girl. I'm going to need
When
you
I
to
say
say
this, you say
something."
that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they could have, rationalized it by saying, that's probably was the first time at least adult Queenie had vocalized like, "Hey, I love you." Maybe the mom, I won't say in shock. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but when some people like hear certain things, they get kind of stuck.
Yeah. She probably couldn't even get it out if she tried. Maybe she'd
Yeah,
be ready to cry or something like that. Like,
yeah,
oh my gosh. But I loved how it ended, and I was just like, I don't need a second season.
yeah. Not
Mm-mm.
until this conversation, because we're talking about the first season. I was questioning like, are we going to get it? But I'm like, I don't need that. Like that was just
No.
the
Mm-hmm.
perfect just evolution,
Yeah.
that I can see displayed on the screen.
Yeah.
That was because normally I'm like, oh, I want a new season, but
Yeah.
I
It was
love more of the
good.
content, but the story is good there. You
It
know?
really is because after that, it's like it's just more drama, and then it's problem. You know, they would have to create problems for her and Frank, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah, we
not
don't
here
need
for
that.
it. Please leave it alone. I
Yeah,
mean, I would love to see her and Frank, together and everything.
me
But it's
too.
like once you have to put problems, and I'm like, no, I don't
Yeah,
want that. I like my mind where they finally was kissing and everything. It was a good little love
exactly.
story. Cause I was like, come on now. I was shipping them the whole time. What about Frank? What about Frank? Cause she would always say, I know exactly who, and it would never be Frank, girl.
Oh gosh.
See, look, Miss Kara said, "Did you ladies read the book?" No, we didn't. I've never heard of this, like this show. Nothing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I ran across it on Hulu last week, like last Sunday, was it? I think, or
Mm.
last
I
Saturday.
think it was before that, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, not last Sunday, the Sunday before that, because
Yeah.
we were trying to get, yeah. But yeah, and I did find out that it was a book, and I'm just like, wow. So
Yeah.
we had a lot of questions, and and I was saying to Pretty Girl, I said it's probably answered in the book,
Yeah.
a lot more details.
Yeah. Now I'm questioning because I'm like, okay, I don't want the book to ruin the show. Like it's weird because sometimes we'll read a book, then watch a show,
Yeah.
on the book. But now it's like
Hmm.
reversal. Like, do the book stop where the show stopped? Because I'm like, I can't handle anything else. Just I want my little
Right,
perfect
that's
storybook
it. You want
ending.
exactly. Just give me that. I'm good. Like I haven't had a story in like this in I don't know how.
It felt
Oh
good.
my gosh. Yeah,
It
it's
definitely
something
felt
to
good.
watch again. I think I will have to go back and watch it again too because it was a good thing.
It was, yeah,
It
it's
was really good for
just
my
as good the second
mind. Like I just loved the headspace it had me in. I was just like, this is great.
Yeah. If even though she was going through all that, it's still
Right.
like it was good. It was
Yes,
really
and Ches K was a hot mess, always telling her to step her
good.
P game up. I'm like, girl, you need to stop. This is
Like, yeah,
not good advice. Cause she
it
sure
get,
was doing the most.com with that P.
that what?
That P, that
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that
it was a
coochie
lot.
poo.
It was a lot.
Mm-mm. That kitty cat.
And and it was interesting to me, right? Because she lived with a couple, right? And I'm like, at some point, I'm like, girl, you can't be having all these strange men up here.
Yes, I'll be like, I don't want these people knowing where I'm living, Queenie. We
Exactly.
need to
Like,
have a meeting.
go to a dollar motel, whatever you call those.
Yeah, you better do something different.
That's
Shoot,
dangerous. But people do
very
that, I
dangerous.
guess.
Yeah, she was doing a lot of dangerous things. I'm sorry. I'm glad that
There you
nothing
go.
happened to her because it was like, girl,
Yeah.
you're doing a lot of things.
Yeah. They
So
were
I'm
really
kind of glad they didn't
fetishizing her.
take like a crazy traumatic or dramatic
Yeah.
turn because I was like,
Yeah. Guy
Queenie.
was like the worst of it. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I loved her like little her I won't call it little, but the little it's not really a monologue per se, but the dialogue she had in therapy about being a strong black woman.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. There was a lot of good things in the dialogue that, even though this is capturing a woman, in London, we can all resonate as black women on some level to
Yeah.
what she's going through, especially us being older than what she is in this story. Like, we can still relate, to either that
Mm-hmm.
time or things she's going through, at 25, we can still relate to it at, early 40s.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
I,
it could be, talking to your inner 25-year-old or, and sometimes you still have unresolved issues
yeah.
that it could be bringing up or anything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's that, y'all. Any last words that you have for Queenie, pretty girl?
I don't know.
Dirty wine,
I
my
just,
girl, dirty wine. That's one of my
yeah, I
favorite
love the
songs.
music. I was like,
Yes.
Funny River. Fun. Oh my God. The whole housewarming with the grandparents. Grandma was over there
Yeah.
sitting.
She was.
The Aunt Maggie had her booth thing. He was DJing like he was in the
Yes.
club. I love all of that. Oh my God. But
Oh my
everything,
goodness. It was
it was good. I
so.
did like the dialogue with the grandfather, and he was discussing, how he just felt defeated, like feeling like he didn't protect his daughter and granddaughter from the
Yeah.
world. And
Yeah.
because that was interesting too with the flashbacks, is like, as a young woman, when you're going through something in the family, sometimes they can't control what you're doing, right? But it was like you're in that stuck place where you can tell her, don't, continue or whatever, but it's not so
Yeah.
much you can do. So they was kind of in a weird place
Mm-hmm.
with Queenie's dad. And it was interesting because Guy asked about her dad. He was like, nice fella, kind of,
Yeah.
kind of really
Not
didn't
interested
don't
in me
care for me
though.
that much.
Yeah. Right. Nice guy. Not
Which,
interested in me though.
yeah,
Like,
but in
oh,
therapy, she said it was a time where she even lived with her father, but the stepmom wasn't feeling her too. So that was kind of,
right.
I would want more about what's going on. Maybe, I'm
There.
sure they don't have a relationship, I'm assuming, but
Yeah,
you
didn't
know,
seem
but
like it.
yeah.
Didn't
But
seem
great,
like it,
great
child.
show.
Yeah, definitely a great show. Loved it. And yeah, but that was Queenie. Thank you so much, pretty girl, for
Thank
like listen,
you.
I told her about it, told her to watch it. She got on board, she loved it, and I'm like, girl, you wanna talk about it? She like, yep. So because we knew like this is something you definitely want to talk about. Like
Yeah.
every we don't always want to talk about everything we watch
Yeah.
because it's just work sometimes, but this was like, oh yeah, we got to
It
talk
was
about this.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
so
fun. So many things. Great show.
yeah,
I want more content like this. Like, we deserve
yes,
great content like this. Like,
mm-hmm,
it's time.
yeah, absolutely. So but thank you guys for being here. Blessings to you all. Thank you so much, pretty girl, for being here as
Thank
well with
you.
me. This has been For the Watch. I'm your girl, Miss K. And please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you know when to upload more videos like this one. Until next time, take care and be blessed. Bye bye. All right. We made it through. Boop, boop. We made it through. I don't even think we ended the stream. What the heck?
No. Is it the